Right, we're live on YouTube.
Hello, friends. Welcome.
Okay,
I'm looking at you both on Instagram and on YouTube.
waiting to get the Instagram.
The two screens are up. It's all happening. We're going wild in the aisles. So we are live streaming on the YouTube, and we're also here live on the Instagram. I'm waiting for my esteemed colleagues to join me and to ask to be brought up to talk to us all. So there we go. Lovely, lovely. And it should be any moment now. I've accepted. Hello.
Hello.
There she is.
Oh, I'm very
There
close.
she is.
Very close.
There they are. Lovely.
No, I'm
Wonderful.
too far away. Oh no, I'm going to have another week, aren't I?
You're all right.
When we look at the side of your head.
I know. I don't. How do you guys get it so face on with both?
My phone is on a hook that's like in front of my laptop, so they are in front of each other.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. I'm going to have
on a book stack.
Because if I do that, then that's a bit. Oh, is that better?
No. Definitely a boob shot.
Oh.
Princess Disney tits.
Disney tits.
You need a sparkly jumper for that.
Well,
hang on.
We have something cool in the planning for our last.
We've already started. Before we get, I said I dropped the T word, and we've not even done it. So let's just do the intro. Let's roll it out. Good evening, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you may be in the world. For us, it's evening. This is History After Dark. It's Wednesday. It's 8:15 GMT. What else could it possibly be? And it is time to start the way we start every one of these, for legal purposes, with our disclaimer. We call this History After Dark because when we first decided to do it, it was winter. It's now winter again, so it's dark at this time of night. But also, we thought it was a good idea to have a space on the interwebs where we could let our freak flags fly, where we could talk history for reals, but also where we could do some swears, talk some smut, throw some shade. With that being said, if you happen to be in the company of a judgmental boss, then put a headphone in. If you happen to be, I don't know, in the car or the kitchen or the living room with a little dobber, we call him Timmy. Timmy's a problem. If Timmy is liable to go into school tomorrow and tell Mrs. Jacobs that mummy listens to naughty words on the internet,
because it's a different one every week.
Timmy is on a plan. Timmy has a problem. He needs constant supervision. There is a team of staff needs to wrangle Timmy. Timmy's a biter, so Timmy is feral. If you don't want to get called at the school to ask how little Timmy knows about whatever depraved nonsense we're about to talk about, then I suggest put a headphone in. Alternatively, you can watch us on the playback. You can watch us on the stream, which will be up on our YouTube, History After Dark. Make sure you're following. Or you can watch us back on the IGTV. It will be in both of those places. I say that with a caveat coming. If we say something so utterly, reprehensibly heinous that we come off of doing this and go, that cannot possibly be allowed to exist in the Twitter sphere or the internetosphere or wherever it is. If that happens, and it's happened once before, so it's possible, then it may well be yeast into the sun. But it's only happened once before, and we've been doing this circus for a while now. So we've gotten better at towing the line right up to the point of depravity, but not going over it into possible criminality. So with that being said, welcome to our episode for tonight called Lie to Me. I've talked for long enough. Who wants to do the rules of engagement?
Philippa needs to do those.
Okay, I can do the rules of engagement.
Crack on.
Okay, so Lie to Me is a game based on something I saw on the telly once. And so we have 6 objects that we're going to show you tonight. Those of you on YouTube will see them in much better format than those of you on Instagram, I'm afraid. So if you want to hop over to YouTube, you might want to use the next few minutes to do it. We are History After Dark on YouTube. And yeah, so we're going to be bringing up the pictures in some way, shape or form on Instagram and absolutely definitely on YouTube. 6 objects. We are each going to tell you what that object is. 2 of us are lying, and we have completely made up what this object is. 1 of us will be telling the truth. So for each object, you can then stick in your comments who you think is telling the truth. I think it's
And
probably the
who's
easiest way.
doing porky pies.
Yeah.
Who's a dirty, filthy
And we
little
will
liar.
and we will see who's good at lying. Or
Yes.
acting, whichever way you want to put it.
Yes, we'll call it acting. Who
Acting.
do you
Who's
not
good
want to
at
play
acting?
poker against is
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
Right. What's your first image?
What's
Philippa,
gonna
and
come
I
up?
will what's going to come up for you first, Philippa, and I'll find it here.
Shall I put it onto YouTube then you can see it?
Yeah, then I'll do it on Insta. Right.
There we
hang
go.
on.
So it's this
Hanging
wooden thing.
on.
I'm going to take our
I'm
banner
putting my
off for
tiny
a
microphone
moment.
down, and I'm going to show you the image that I have.
You've beheaded it.
Slightly beheaded it.
There's some more shaft in the YouTube photo.
Those of you on YouTube, are getting more.
You're getting more shaft for your
shaft.
money.
Yeah.
Bargain.
So, who would like to open with what this is in history?
Do you want me to do it, Philippa?
Yes, you can go first. You're the
Yeah.
only one who's not spoken yet, so what it is.
Makes a change. Okay, so this beautiful wooden artifact here is from kind of, I would say, the late medieval period is how most people learn it, and it's used with like fruit and stuff. So you can see how it's got the prongs in it, and that one's maybe a little bit worn. I've seen ones where they're a bit pointier and a bit sharper. So a good example would be for coring an apple, for example, or taking out a piece of a fruit or a vegetable that was bad. And then obviously a bit like a corkscrew, you've got that. So you get the pokey bits in. They probably didn't call them pokey bits themselves, did they? If we're being honest. They get the pokey bits and then you can turn it like the top of a corkscrew and it turns. And that way it comes out like delicately. And you've got the bit in the middle that's come out, which you can then dispose of and eat the rest of whatever it was you were going to eat. So yeah, like a fruit. There's a name, isn't it? Like when you use it for apple. Yeah, cora. That's it. It's from my brain. Yes, I like a cora. But you could use it to take out. If you had a big thing, you could take a small bit of it out with that. If you had what's a bit manky.
Very good.
Cool.
Very good.
Alexandria says it looks like a phallus guillotine. She also points out there's no 31st of November, which you're correct. I'm sorry. I did that in haste.
Someone did that with David as well. They booked his osteo for the 31st of November. And I was like, am I missing something? It's a parallel universe. So there you go. So that's my wooden late medieval fruit / vegetable cora.
Well, thank you for sharing that. However, I'm going to tell you that is not what this object is. In fact, this delightful and very useful wooden tool dates from around about the 1800s, and its official name is a straining wrench. Don't get your mind out of the gutter, right?
Was it?
It's also called a bed key. And what it's used for is you jam the little legs in the ropes of old beds that were strung with rope and the mattress was placed on top. And you use this to tighten up the ropes so that you can sleep tight. And this would be done weekly. And that's what that's for.
Sorry, I've just put some Lee Armstrong, 62. I'm just going to guess that everything is a medieval vibrator.
Anything's a dildo if you're brave enough.
If you're brave enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just shows where to put the bees.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what this is. It's a straining wrench.
Okay, but it's not what it is. What this actually is, and it was found at Hampton Court Palace, and that is relevant because this is a Tudor, what I would call a stop tap key. So we still use stop tap keys. Here's my geeky water engineer side coming out. Now, Hampton Court Palace had a clean water supply. It's gravity fed, and you would be able to basically you can turn the water on and off, or turn it down or up by using a faucet tap, basically, which is underground. But because it's underground, you need what they call a stop tap key. I'm not sure actually what the Tudors would have called it. Maybe they didn't have a name for it, but that is what that is.
So you have our 3 answers. We are going to very quickly open this, the comment section. We're going to be keeping our eyes on the comment section for the next, I'm going to call it a minute. I want you to put in whether you think this is a Cora, a bed key, or a stop tap. We'll have those words, because we'll just put a couple of words in for people to type with speed. So the words, if you agree with Philippa, it's a stop tap. If you agree with me, then call it a bed key. And if you agree with Catherine, then call it a Cora. And put in which one of those 3 you think is not absolute bullshit. It's only one of them. The other 2 are complete cock.
Oh,
So we've got one bed key, one
cock.
for stop tap, another bed key. So
We've got
stop tap.
We've got
Bed
Janice
key.
with me. Stop tap, bed key, bed key,
It's
bed key, bed
almost
key,
oscillate-
stop tap, bed key, stop tap.
No one is buying what Catherine's selling. I'm just going to put that out
there. Yeah, it's about.
It's about. I'm going to go with it.
I think it's slightly more in your favour at the moment, but I've got a lot of support for the stop tap
What
key.
about on YouTube? What's happening on YouTube?
Yeah, so we've got bed key, stop tap, bed key, stop tap, bed key, bed key, bed key, bed key, stop tap at the moment.
Right.
So slightly more in your
Okay.
favour. Bobby answered
So
me.
shall we announce which one is the not lie? Which one is the truth? Now I think we're giving people a try. It's a bed key or a medieval jackhammer. I mean, you've been there a while. If you were trying to get up some medieval Tarmacadam using this bad boy.
Sorry, Catherine's got 1 vote.
Oh.
Robin's mom.
She's going to adopt me now.
Well, friends, I selected this photograph, so it is in fact the bed key. This was used for tightening up the ropes beneath a mattress in the old tester beds. So that's what that is. Lovely jubbly. Right.
Lovely jubbly.
Very well done, everybody. This is a fun game, isn't it?
It is.
I just whoever's in, someone's going to make it into a phallus, aren't they?
Should we do number 2? Let's see what comes up as number 2. Because I can't
number
remember what
2?
order. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm just going to pull that image out. So for everybody on Instagram, putting my tiny microphone down. Bear with.
And it's up on YouTube. Grace says Catherine was a very good liar.
Don't tell
Right.
David that.
Right. Who wants to kick off?
So shall I go first with this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a Roman gambling token. So Romans were big on gambling. They gambled on, well, they played a lot of dice, but of course they also gambled on gladiator games, chariot races. It was a big thing. It wasn't particularly legal, but they all did it. So it's kind of something to turn a blind eye to. And this is a very high value token, like we'd have chips, I suppose, at casinos now. This particular token, it's gold, and it would be worth, I believe, around about a year's worth of, say, a baker's take home. So if someone who's baking, it would be worth like a year's worth of their take home money. So it was really, really valuable. I don't think it's particularly big though. It's just the fact that it was gold. But yeah, so it's a Roman gambling token.
Kat, are you going next? Or
I can go next. That's a really cute story, Philippa, but that is not absolutely not what this is. Because what this actually is, you can see, in fact, that there is a small rat. Oh, hang on. There's a rat in this image, in the engraving, because what this actually is it's a token that villages would give to the rat catcher. And it's a play on the old stories of, rat catchers stealing kids. So because you don't want there to be a Pied Piper, what you do is you make sure that before they start catching the rats, you give them this token. It's in fact, it's just gold plated. So it's a representation of what they will get if they do their job properly. They can come back and then exchange it for their full fee. And this is a promise that we won't not pay you. And it's also them saying they won't steal your kids. So it's a kind of it's a medieval game that they would sort of play, but it's a kind of tradition, and it's usually played in the Midlands, in fact, of this country, of England.
Well, that's blatantly shows that that's untrue, because I'm in the Midlands and I don't do it. So
well, I mean, it's you weren't medieval in the Midlands, so were you?
I've got a time machine.
No, you're not allowed the time.
Okay, so despite its unusual shape, this is actually a coin. And generally they are gold, but they can be silver as well. And they are the gold coins of Croesus, if I'm pronouncing that right. And it was minted in Sardis by the King of Lydia, who was kind of hanging around in the minus 16th century. And what's great about this is it's obviously you're seeing forms of currency coming in. This is a really, really early one, if it's actually gold and pure gold. And what's so fascinating and special about this, apart from the fact that it's like quite an object of beauty and it's quite small, and what King Lydia's done, he was credited with issuing the first gold coins that have a standardized purity for metal. And it created and to put this sort of system into a really general circulation rather than like a local currency or a local coin or token or gift of exchange or something like that. And this was part of the world's first biometallic monetary system. So the first time you're seeing pure metals being used as a currency. So that's what that is. And they're quite small. I mean, they're like, the width of it is only a couple of centimetres. So you can see the height, again, it is about the same sort of thing. So it's quite weeny. It's not very big. And of course, it is made of pure metal and gold particularly. It's a bit pricey. So there we go.
So do you think this is Catherine's coin? Do you think that this is Philippa's token? Or do you think that it's my rat catcher gift? So let's have coin, token, or rat. Put it in the comments.
Coin, token, or rat.
Try to see all the smoke from all the pants on fire. Well, obviously, you won't see mine, because is it a gambling token? Is it a thing you give to a rat? Or is it a rat catcher? Or is it a coin? We're seeing token and coin, token and coin. So I've gone rat. Thank you.
I've got coin, coin, rat, coin, rat.
Coin, rat, coin,
no, rat. Oh, hang on. I've got more at the top. I didn't realize. Sorry.
Coin, going with Philippa because she knows she's into Roman history.
Rat.
Coin, rat. One vote for coin, one
token.
vote for rat. Oh, that's because Robin's with
coin, rat. Right, we've got a number of votes in there. I can't tell what's coming out on top. Tokens coming out on top. Gambling tokens coming out on top.
Token.
Rats coming up quite a lot.
Coin, token.
I was seeing coin occasionally. Rat catch tokens coming up.
It's all three.
Well, cover your bases. Cover your bases.
So, who is the one person here who's not a dirty, filthy liar?
Me.
It is, in fact, the coin. And you said it was the first gold coin.
Yeah, the first true gold coins with a standardized purity to go into general circulation, and the world's first biometallic monetary system.
What does that mean? Biometallic monetary system?
Well, I suppose base metals and pure metals and stuff like that. So
bimetallic.
Yeah.
I see. I thought there was some kind of biochip in there. I was like, what is this?
It's all with Bill Gates.
What is it? Perfect. Philippa, what's your next item
next
on
one,
the list?
let's have a look. It is this. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. There's movement. There we go.
There you go. So these are they're pots, and each one holds a charge worth of gunpowder for a musket. So these are actually a German example, but they would have had exactly the same they would have had exactly the same in England during the English civil wars of the 17th century. And there's a number of them, and they would be worn around on a belt around the soldier. So he would have a complete belt around him with all these little pots so that he'd got them ready to charge his musket. There you go. That's what they are.
Adorable. I love it.
You're so cute.
Woven. It's beautiful. But you and I both know what these actually are. And that is, these are in fact, and they were seized and they were part of the royal collection. And then they were held by the Houses of Parliament as well because of their connection to treason. Because these were in fact the bungs that were used to smuggle the messages between Mary Queen of Scots and the Babington conspirators. So the coded messages that were intercepted by government and by the Privy Council, and that were then decoded and that eventually scuppered Mary Queen of Scots. They were held inside of these. You can see that they've been the corks in that way. That's so you could slip it inside of the wine and beer barrels, and then the message wouldn't get wet. So that's in fact what they are.
So I can see why you guys picked those sort of quite similar things, but actually a number of people who have come on here and who followed me and other things know that I used to make lace. Now, obviously, lace can be very fine. So the lace I made was done on quite slender bobbins, and to create the weight, to get the tautness that you need, because I've got quite good tension for lace, you have the spangle on the end, don't you? And if you don't know what spangle is, it's kind of like you make it out of wire, it hooks to the bottom of the bobbin, and you put beads and stuff on it. So you can match the spangle, or it can be very different, and you make them in pairs. So lace is that sort of lace is very fine, like torchon lace or something like that. But before you had that kind of ability to make that thread so fine, and that would be very expensive as well to produce fabrics with things like that or trims like that. But if you wanted something to bind something together, or maybe you were in a slightly richer house, this is a sort of form of slightly sturdier bobbin, and it's heavier because the what you're working with, and you can see there's fabric underneath there, and you can see that the string, I'm pointing to this screen, that the string is like that the thread is attached to them.
Can I just say, I'm slender bobbins was my name in jail is possibly my favourite comment of the night. That has to, we have to make a note of that. That has to, I'm sorry, Catherine, for derailing you, but we actually genuinely have to make that our subtitle. Slender bobbins was my name in jail is now our fucking spectacular work. Sorry, carry on.
Okay, so so they're heavier because what the material that you're working with to sort of create the lace effect is heavier, is thicker, so it's heavier to put it down. So you can see that there's like two ridges in it, so that's where you wind the thread, and then it can be sort of pinched between the bits that like one bit fits in the other to hold it in place so that it doesn't unravel in between you taking sessions working on it. So it's like a form of bobbin for not making particularly fine lace or decorative work.
So
you're filling the space.
Is it for the words we're going to put in the comments? If you believe Catherine's hokum, then you're going to put lace. If you believe Philippa's absolute tosh, you're going to put gunpowder. If you are right and believe my truth, put treason. Go.
My truth.
Historically, we don't talk about thick bobbins anymore. That's a no touchy touch.
Yep. Thick bobbins. Dirty. Right. Lace, gunpowder.
We've got gunpowder, treason, lace. We've got one for each.
Gunpowder,
treason,
gunpowder, treason.
Another gunpowder. Name any other sporting me.
Treason.
Robins with me.
Treason. Messaging bottles. Yes. Tampons. Well, they're big. There's some girth.
We're back to splinters again, aren't we?
Oh dear, sorry.
Gunpowder.
Back to splinters.
Another gunpowder.
Again.
Gunpowder. So I think it's guns. So it's. I'm seeing a lot of Treason, Gunpowder and Lace sounds like a good novel. It's definitely a bodice ripper. There is some dirt going on there. Another one for treason. I think
We've got treason or lace bobbins, so not
treason. So there's quite a variety.
Tara says, I hope none of you have Alexa repeating gunpowder and treason.
We're all on a watch list now, that's
point.
for sure.
Well, we were before, let's be honest.
Correct. Okay, let's figure out who's not the stinky little liar.
I am actually telling the truth this time. They are indeed gunpowder shots things.
I can see it. I see it.
Although you could put bees in them and use them for a different purpose.
Mayfair Forest Witch took a nap and overslept. Oh, hello, welcome from your sleep. Not sure what's going on, but go with Cat because more than once she said anything's a dildo if you're brave enough, and I stand by it.
Or are unable to stand by it, as the case may be.
It does sound like an erotic Guy Fawkes story, doesn't it?
What was it? I'm going to write it down.
Gunpowder, treason, and lace. I think that would be. That would be.
Ah.
There's a garter involved in that, isn't there? There's a dirty minxy minx in the cellars.
Minx.
In the cellars.
Yeah.
In the cellars.
What's our next image? Gosh, time is marching.
Next
is.
image.
Oh,
I mean, if this isn't Cat, then I don't know what's going on.
one second.
Really?
Instagram. YouTube is already looking at this, but Instagram, you are going to fucking love this one.
Well, oh,
It's cropped.
yeah, I'll show you. Can't see the top bit. That blatantly looks like a big knob.
But it's turning around on Instagram, people on YouTube, and just still showing the middle bit. Not not the top one.
It's a
Oh
shower,
my
not a
God.
grower.
Oh dear.
I've not heard that for you.
Now, this one is actually mine. And
of course
what this
it bloody is.
and what this is and it was donated to. It's found in the collection of a local
Sorry,
businessman.
Mrs. Oxford. Anyone we know?
I don't think it's based on the life. So this made its way through a variety of people. It was in fact for a long time held by the Lord Mayor's office, and why is going to become clear. But the Lord Mayor's office have passed it on, and it's now in the collection of the Museum of London. And I have heard tell that it will in fact be on display when they go to their new site, which is set to open in 2025. So if you wish to go to the Museum of London, you don't have a lot of time because it does close on Sunday for the London Wall site before they go to reopen in East West Smithfield. But this will be in their collection, and it will be on display because it will tell the story of our Lord Mayors of London, because this belonged to the man we know as a pantomime figure, Dick Whittington. This is in fact the famous stick that he used with his handkerchief tied on it, his little pack. And this, what looks rather smutty, you're all vulgar and vile, was there to make sure that the pack didn't fall off while he was making his way to London, where he could become our Lord Mayor.
Notice how Cat speaks so eloquently about things shaped like dildos.
Mm.
Yeah.
Look, I like what I like. Okay.
I like what I like. That one's a bit scary though. If I ever come around your house, I'm not looking in any of your cupboards just in case that jumps out at me.
It's Dick Whittington's travelling stick. All right.
Yeah, if you say so.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It's not though.
It is though.
It's not though. So this is actually a movie prop from a Carry On film called What a Whopper. It was filmed in it was called it. It was in 1961. It was filmed, and the actual premise of the film was there was a writer basically wanted to make money by writing a book about the Loch Ness Monster, but publishers he couldn't get a publisher to buy it. You can Google this; it's a real film. He couldn't get a publisher. This is a film. Couldn't get a publisher to buy the book. So they staged photographs of the Loch Ness Monster, and this is a model of the Loch Ness Monster. You can't see it on Instagram, and you can only just about see it on YouTube. There's a weight at the bottom. So this they submerged into a tank of water. So you'd only actually have seen the head of Nessie and the top of the flippers, and then you've got the bit that's just its bit of its back that would have been above the waterline. And they took photos and to try and convince people that the Loch Ness Monster was real. So this is actually a movie prop that was used for that purpose in the movie.
Bollocks! Right, all the Carry On films were called Carry.
You can
Carry On Whopper Whopper is a well-known film.
Whopper.
It's
And
Whopper
because
Whopper,
I
1961.
actually have a box set of all the Carry On films. So
It said it was carried in 1961. You can look it
right,
up. You can
well,
Google it.
yes, well, as utterly convincing as those two explanations are, I mean, we all know what a grotesque pervert Cat is and what an innocent soul Philippa is. So I think if you're picking between the two of them, it's not hard to see which one of them is genteel and which one of them basically needs some form of sectioning. But actually,
Not again.
but actually, this beautiful, elegant creature, you can see, it looks a little like a bird. You can see the long, slender neck and the wings, and it is actually a pestle. So you would have the mortar bowl underneath, which isn't in this picture, and you would use that to grind your ingredients. It was discovered in the early part of the 20th century in Oceania by a farmer. It had risen above the surface. It had gone up quite high. It is quite tall. It's well over a foot. It's about 14, 15 inches high, the whole thing. But it's from the prehistoric period. I know,
Prehistoric.
from 600 to 200 BC. And it's carved from, it looks like it's wooden, I understand, but it's actually carved from stone. So there you go. It is a bird-shaped pestle.
Yeah, that's what she said.
So
it's a shame on Instagram because you can't. If they were on Instagram, they'd be able to see what I was talking
Basically,
about at the bottom, which is the bit that you would do the grinding with. You see, but you can't see that. And I concede that the top that you can't see on Instagram does look extremely like a very scary dildo. But as Kat says,
It looks like
anything's a dildo if you're brave enough. Even the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
So, in the comments, then, is this a pestle?
Yes.
Is it a prop, or is it dick? As in Dick Whittington. Get your fucking minds out the gutter. Disgusting. Disgusting.
Made for switch. You use it to grind your ingredients. Ladies, at this point, everything sounds suggestive.
Yeah.
Raven's put girthy, ain't it?
So, dick, pestle, or prop?
Prop.
Pestle. It's quite a bit of D is happening here. So some prop.
We have prop.
Quite a bit of D happening. That sounds like a good night in.
Prop.
Prop. Lots of people are picking up what Philip is putting down. We've got some walking stick. Prop. What's happening over on YouTube? We've got a pestle over here.
Yeah, I can't see YouTube. Sorry.
We've got prop. Oh gosh, sorry. Prop.
Pestle again. Dick. Pestle. I'm having a lovely time. DIY. I mean,
that means yeah.
D again. Right. Walking stick. Very good. Very good. We're having.
Kelly says none of them. One of them is right.
They all sound like horseshit. What I like is that on every occasion there are enough people that believe all of us. That means that we must be fairly convincing liars. Stamen of a large plant. I mean, you're just going off piece there.
It just gets better and better. Raven, I want Catherine's to be true because the innuendo was so strong. So strong. Toes in the sand. Dick stick. Screenshot Cat holding this thing on her shoulder.
Who's so who? So who's not a filthy dirty liar then? Who's the one who's not lying? Catherine. It is in fact a pestle.
It looks
It
like the
is.
most unlikely pestle. I think that was just a front. That is. There's
That's
no way
when
there's a
Cat
pestle.
borrowed my time machine, went back in time, made a pestle, and then came back.
made every woman happy and came back.
Yes. Yes.
Just
Good.
say it's a pestle. Say it's a pestle. There you go. It
Right.
looked like Brian says it looks like it's smiling. Well,
Right.
Raven, they're all lying. We were all
mean-
lying.
How
No.
bloody rude! Who approved this?
But
Raven, who approved this?
Babe, Raven, the wheels are off. There is no approval mechanism here.
No.
This is the fucking Wild West. And we
I
three
tell you what, it would be
reprobates.
wild if you had one of them.
I mean, we are just Bonnie and Clyding this bullshit straight into the sun. We are Icarusing. No one's in charge. The wheels are off. There's no steering wheel.
We're
There's a
having
gear
way
stick.
of time.
There's a gear
Well,
stick,
apparently.
but it's in the boot. This is the gear stick is this mate though. So that's what
Yeah.
that's where we are.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
gear
where
stick.
we are. That's where we are.
Shall we
Ooh.
see what is
What is next?
We have 2 more images to go. What are we going for?
Doug's like, but What a Whopper was a real film. It is a real film.
Mint Pixies put pestle, my ass. What you do with that when no one else is around is entirely your
look,
choice.
Look, when it
But I
comes
would
to
wash
picking
it
things-
before
but
and after.
also, my friends who have worked in A&E,
Mm-hmm.
if you're sticking it up your bum, make sure it's got a base.
Well, it has. It's just
Well,
you
it
can't
has.
see on the paces.
Yeah, well,
on
that
the-
does. But
Right.
in future,
I'm
if you want to put random
concerned,
stuff.
though, if you were going to try and get it all the way up to the base, what the hell is happening with the wings?
Look,
You get how'd you get it out?
I would.
So, baby, what is it
what's
really?
it- what
It's
is
a
it?
pestle.
It really is a pestle. It really is a pestle. It really seriously is a pestle. It's a was it Paleolithic? Is it Paleolithic?
so,
You say?
Yeah, well, prehistoric period between 6,000 and 2,000 BC.
Yeah.
So people have always had a bit of fun on their own with their kitchen implements.
Pestling.
Pestling. Pestling.
Gave
Is that-
herself
is that a new name for
furious
it now?
pestling. Yeah. had a furious pestling of an eve.
Mrs. Oxford, no, I fell on it, obviously, honestly. Oh,
So
Should we go on to the next one?
let's do the next. We've got 2 more images to go, and we're
Yeah.
approaching our time.
Are we?
warning, do
Okay.
not insert pestle in any body cavity.
No, nothing
Thank-
larger than your
thank-
elbow. Nothing
Thank
smaller
you,
than your
Leah.
elbow
Thank
into
God
your
you're
ear.
here. Thank God
Nothing
you're
smaller
here.
than your elbow into your ear either.
Oh dear. Right. Here we go.
Hang on.
Here's the next one. I
Hang
need to
on.
cough. Excuse me.
Well done. Is it there?
Yeah. I think I went first next time. If someone, last time, someone wants to go first. Did I go first?
Kat, you go first.
Right. So, what this is a punishment for a schoolroom. It's a schoolboy's punishment. So, if they forget to do the work they've been set, if they forget to do their reading, if they haven't managed to memorize their Plato or Aristotle, then they were forced to sit on this, put it underneath their scholars' gowns, sit on it until a mark was left on their leg, so that for the rest of the day they had been marked as being a lazy, lackadaisical student. And they, if they were caught in another class and they had to sit on another stone, it would be visible that they had already been marked. So it's a bit like being marked with that you've read the neck verse at Tyburn. So it's if you're caught a second time in the day, then you would get birched. So that's what it's for. It's a kind of, we're giving you the benefit of the doubt, but if we catch you again and you've got to sit on the paddling stone again, then we are going to birch you. And that's what it is.
What's excellent about this is you can guess who's coming up in the comments here on Instagram. Timmy. Timmy's at it again.
Timmy.
That's the type of naughty little boy Timmy is. Was this a private school?
Of course it was.
Without question.
A grammar, sir. A grammar.
Without question. Philippa, do you want me to go next?
Yes, you can go next.
Yes. Okay. So you can see here one of these items has raised symbols and the other one they've been sort of chipped in. So what these were done, these were sort of very early Roman-ish, more into the Roman period, made of stone, obviously, and it was to help people to kind of get the feel and practice. So there was loads of these and to practice both chipping the letters and shaping the lettering and getting a feel for that. And then, of course, conversely, when you wanted to create something, you can see the one at the top is raised so that you could create that sort of lifted effect with your symbols and your lettering. So these are just ones that people have had to practice on. And because you can see, if you think about the ones we tend to see in the end of like the finished product that we see in the buildings, etc., they're much more polished and smooth and symmetrical and everything like that. Whereas this is a bit more rough and ready, isn't it? So these are obviously ones that people have had and they've been practicing these techniques. And so that's what we see here is people's rudimentary efforts, but actually they're quite good. They're not bad, are they, for rudimentary efforts? I don't think, especially the bottom one. Yeah. So there we go. I mean, I think that looks quite fun. I'd have a go. Safer to have a go with that than the other thing.
Brian put a few comments up. Number plate
from the Flintstones.
So what this actually is a bread stamp. So it is Roman, but everything else Catherine said was a lie. This was found
Rude.
in Rude. At Caerleon, which is a Roman base. It was basically a barracks, and bread ovens were communal, but so each century would live together. But the bread ovens that they used to bake their bread were communal, and they were just outside of the barracks, obviously for fire concerns. So in order for them to know which bread was theirs, they had a stamp, and the stamp basically says this bread belongs to the century of whoever. So there's one example, Vibius Severus. So his century, so his stamp would say this is the bread of Vibius Severus. And so then when it came out of the oven, every century would know which was their bread. And do you know how many men were in a century?
What's that?
80.
Well, I thought the Romans were intelligent.
There's a little bit of extra for you. So there you go.
Kat, can I just say, I know iPads are expensive, but that looks like a really shit parrot. I don't think the way she's holding it, like, yeah.
This is my pet. So is this a Roman bread marker? Let's call it bread. Is it a punishment, or is it for practicing your lettering? So practice, punish, or bread? Who do you think is not a filthy little liar? Philippa is the bread lady. I am the punishment lady.
Surprise.
And Catherine is your practice.
Tara
I'm
says,
not sure what
Got
sounds
bread
worse.
Got a bread here.
Yeah, we've
bread.
got Laura
bread,
Marie bread, Kelly bread,
punishment,
Laura, Cat
bread.
We've got practice. Emily's just put so P for practice, presumably. Oh no, it could be punishment though.
Punish, bread. Practice, bread.
I really like how everyone's getting
punish.
involved. It's good. It's good times.
Yeah.
We should do this again, I think. I think this is a great. I'm having a lovely time.
Having a lovely
time with my fake parrots.
Hopefully you're learning something.
We're going to figure out something, a better way of doing this on Instagram. I don't know. Bread. We've got a lot of people going for the bread.
Yeah. We have more bread, punish, practice. So we've got quite a few bread, quite a few practice. A couple punish.
Beverly wants us to absolutely do this again. Well, I'm sure we will.
Mayfair Forest Witch.
Yeah, that's Google.
Bloody cheating.
Don't look it up. That's no fun. Right. So, which one of us is not a dirty liar?
Me.
It's
It
a
is.
bread marker then.
Bread stamp. Yep. So this
It's not a bad idea, to be fair, to stop people nicking your bread. You could do
No.
biscuits as well.
Yeah,
You-
they probably
you
did. I suppose.
could.
Anything that went into the communal oven, they needed to know which was theirs.
Fair.
So yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Okay. Right then, last one.
Last one. Dun, dun, dun. Ah, yes. Yes.
Hold on. Hold fast.
Not as bad as it looks.
Dun, 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 dun. I mean, it's blatantly obvious what this is. Pieces of
Go on
eight.
then, Catherine.
Pieces of eight. Pieces of eight.
Start us off. Start us off, Catherine. What is
Okay.
it?
This is a little bit more modern than some of the other things we've been looking at, obviously. Maybe only about 100 years old, roundabout, give or take a little bit, slightly less. And at the risk of sounding, you can imagine this being used in like the East End of London, a little bit sort of gangstery. But it's a form of knuckle duster. So you can see how you'd get the 4 fingers through there and you'd wrap the thumb round. It's got a pokey bit on the end of it as well and everything like that. And then a good solid bit on the other end where you could really do some damage. So it's like a weapon, not necessarily a really, really expensive one because not everyone's got the money of the craze and stuff like that. But yeah, simple as. Violence.
Yeah, I mean, it is a weapon. You're right. And it is a...
See, Kat's just said I'm right.
But you're wrong as well, because that's where it comes from. It's a fold-out weapon. So you're quite correct. There is a knuckle duster element, and there's also a flick knife element. And the heavy bit, as you so erroneously describe it, is obviously a gun. That,
Yeah, you
my
put
friend,
gunpowder in it.
is a revolver. So what this allows you to do is punch somebody in the face, stab them, and shoot them. It's not
That
English.
seems very excessive to me.
This is called an Apache revolver. And it gets that name because in the 1900s, this was one of the weapons that was connected to a Parisian street gang known as Les Apaches. They were incredibly feared. They would rob you at night, and they were known for their absolute brutality. This is a weapon that only works really at close quarters because there's no muzzle for the gun. So essentially you would have to, and also you'd have to unfold it. If you're using it as a knuckle duster, you would then have to unfold it to use it as a revolver. And there's also no muzzle. So you'd probably have to get almost to the chest because there's going to be no aim. But this is what this is. It's an Apache revolver from around about 1900s, the early 1900s.
You see,
Probably made in Belgium.
You see, that's where it's tripped up a little bit, though, Kat, because you've just demonstrated how grossly impractical it is, and therefore
It looks good,
it's
though.
quite implausible what you're
It looks
saying.
good,
I mean, it
though.
does look good. I mean, I get what you've tried to do there.
You two are so violent. I can't believe you've looked at that and made that up. This is a nectar gatherer.
You are so violent.
A what? It's
A
a what?
nectar gatherer. It was owned by Sir Charles Monk of Belsey Hall. He's the 6th baronet, actually, of Belsey Hall. And he went on, he's one of these, so he's like 19th century. So he's one of these aristocrats that went on the Grand Tour. And there was this fashion for bringing back plants. Now, if anyone have been to Belsey Hall, there used to be a castle. There still is in the bottom of the garden, but they rebuilt the hall, and they did it by quarrying the grounds. And by quarrying the grounds, they created this like tropical garden where you can grow plants that shouldn't be able to grow in England, let alone the north of England. And he brought the plants back. But because you can only bring back 1 or 2 of these plants, it's difficult to get them to pollinate. So this is a contraption that he found on the continent for doing just that. and the barrel at the back. So that little, so the finger holes are just for your fingers. The little, what looks like a really sharp bit is like a little, is the little spatula bit that you could put inside the flour, and the tub at the back. So that spatula bit at the front can swivel round, and you can drop the nectar or pollen into the little carry case at the back.
How are you going to get the nectar from the pointy thing onto the carry case at the back?
Because it twists, and the at the back that flips up. The lid flips up, and the little thing twists around.
Right.
So,
Chrissy, I'm dying here.
who's telling the truthy truth and who's telling the liesy lies? Do you believe, Philippa, this is a nectar gatherer? If you do, put nectar.
bees. Put bees.
Put
in
bees.
this.
Put
Yeah,
bees.
I fancy some emojis.
Do you agree with Catherine that it's a weapon? Let's call it a knife. Let's call it a knife. Or do you agree? Or do you agree with me? I think that I'm telling the truth, that it's a gangland weapon, a gang gun. So is it a knife or is it a gun?
Well, it's kind of like a knuckle duster with a pointy bit.
But we've both called it a weapon, Catherine. So I'm trying to figure out how we're going to ask people to say what they believe. So as I've connected to gang violence,
A steampunk botanist.
if you think I'm correct, say gun. If you think Catherine is correct, say knife.
Ow.
And if you think Philippa is correct, then say nectar. Bees. So bees, gang, bees, gang, or knife.
I'm just
Go.
wondering how you're stabbing, shooting, and punching someone simultaneously.
Well,
That's amazing.
like
Only you could do that, to be
So
fair.
practical.
people are
Anyway.
saying gang, gun, gun.
Yeah. Gun. Well, they're all the same then. Gun.
Knife,
Mm-hmm.
gun,
Let's see some more bees.
knife.
We're back to bees in metal containers again, aren't we?
Yes.
Bees.
It's a recurring theme.
Can this get us banned?
No.
We've got some bees.
Suddenly-
People with bees, lovely bees.
Suddenly
bees,
finding
bees,
we've got like shadow banned.
bees. If you don't see us next week, then it's all of our fault for talking about knives and guns in the chat.
Yeah.
Well, not that we would not
Bees.
advocate using
Bees.
them incidentally.
No, it's a shit
because,
weapon. Don't.
as Kat has highlighted, it's possibly one of
It's
the
a
most
shit weapon.
impractical things in the
No.
universe.
There's no way that
Bees.
works. Bees.
You'd be better off setting bees on people, to be fair.
Aim the bees at them. So, who's not the liar? I'm not the liar. It is in fact an Apache revolver. It was from the early 1900s, and it was one of the weapons of choice of a Parisian street gang called Les Apaches, and they were very fearsome. And there are other variants of it, but yes, it is a combined knuckle duster, blade, and also a revolver, but just the revolver barrel. So
See, what I tried to do there was picking something that was nearly right in the hope that might steer people in the wrong direction. But it didn't work. So I know not to try that again.
So there we go. So I've seen something like that in Delaware archives. Oh, cool. How's our chats looking in the, because we've got 4 minutes left.
4 minutes.
We've timed this perfectly, ladies.
We have.
That's not like us.
I know.
I don't know. We're not going up.
It makes a good toe stretcher. I mean, who wants long toes?
Maybe maybe it's from actually another possibility. Who didn't already know the situation? It was from a very sort of rough and ready pedicure parlor.
I mean, now there. Can you imagine having your toenail jam dug out with that knife?
Yeah, that's it. And then all the gunky stuff and the clipping,
Yeah.
put in the little pot at the end until you can empty it out later on.
Ugh.
There we go. Everything should have more than one use. There we go.
Oh God, it's horrendous. I think we should definitely do this again. We won't
dear.
be able to do it this for separating the toes, not a stretchy stretch. Oh, okay. So it's for when you paint your toenails. It's like one of those foam stretchers. Who are you people? What you doing with our dirty nose? I'm sorry, were you not here? For the repeated everything's a dildo if you're brave enough. Raven, where have you been? This has been one of the most filthy ones we've done for a few weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean. I
gun for
wasn't.
delicate
I
ladies.
said to Philippa, I wasn't actually searching for some like hugely phallic object.
Just
But
happened
if
to
you're
come up on
finding
your
expression,
search.
It just popped up,
Mm.
and there it was,
There were
presenting
guns.
itself.
Someone said that there's a gun for dainty ladies. This is not a gun for dainty ladies. There were guns for dainty ladies. Little kind of almost matchbox flintlocks that women would put in their garters, and they shoot you in the testicles under the table. But equally, if you annoyed somebody, an Edwardian lady, she'd stab you with a hat pin, and they were about a foot long. They'd fuck you up. They'd take your liver out.
See, they all look demure and
Raven, I was
elegant
I
and
was
nice.
here referring to the finishing early. Oh, right,
Oh.
that's what okay. I see. So you recognise the filth, but you're like, oh my god, you've been
Ah.
organised. Now I get why
Dildos
that's
could
shock.
also be useful if there's too much finishing early.
That's true. We won't. We. I mean, we're still going to ramble like a bunch of nutters because that's who we are. Muff guns. I mean,
Gun.
there's so many. There's so many smutty thoughts in my mind that I can't pick one. Like I've
pick one to
I've fused. The vulgarity is fused. That happens to me sometimes when there's just
The best weapon ever to come out of someone's bum was Henry Judas at the Battle of Bosworth Field.
He might have
That
been able
was
to
the
fit that
bishop.
one.
shotgun.
Put that one in.
It's
Wait.
very pointy. You might
That's what they're
tuck
called.
That bit in first.
What? Just the tip.
Just the well, you know,
Just put the tip in.
not the pointy one.
Um,
Well, just
You hide them in your. You can hide them in your fur, Muff. Whatever tickles your pickle, love. Leave my muff out of it. It's not dense enough to contain a gun.
Useful place to keep a gun. Hmm.
I mean, how big's your muff? How big is your muff?
on the
I think
plus
you mean the
side, Kat, if
hand
we're ever out with
Yeah,
Philippa,
I'm a handy muff. Yeah.
if we're out
A
with
handy
Philippa
muff.
and we need a weapon, we'll have to ask her to retrieve it, which might take a moment, but at least we know we've got backup.
Get the weed whacker out in the bush. Pull out the gun.
But that they say the element of surprise is a fantastic weapon. That certainly would
Oh,
produce
I
the
mean,
element of
she's-
surprise.
yeah.
If you've got a full bush, you can literally hide an entire cache of arms down there. Like there's just a semi-automatic, there's a Bren gun, like just all coming out.
Wow.
Throwing stars just in your vag.
Ewan's got an ermine one. He puts his whistle in
that's
it.
classy. Classy. I
Um,
like it.
Moon Pixie can't believe I kept a straight face when mentioning shooting pricks in the last reading of the path video. Babe, neither can I. It's because I'm a. Do you know what? It's because this is where this is the time I have the capacity. Do you know what? They let me work with kids, so I keep my poop in a group professionally. So this is just lovely to have this space to be who I mean, I am also that other person, but this is who I am with my pals. So
Okay, Mayfair Forest Witch. If you haven't seen this, guys, Dr. Cat, how big is your muff? That reminds me of a joke about a watermelon and a Russian prostitute.
Don't.
Google it.
I want
Google
to
it.
know.
Google
if
it.
everybody else doesn't. Hands
No,
up if you want to know.
That needs to go into the disclaimer. as well.
Ewan said, just whispering to people, my name's Sturdy Bobbins. Oh, don't mind him. That's just Sturdy Bobbins. Oh, and that's his nephew, Skinny Bobbins. We don't trust him. There they are.
Bobbins asked if none of you people ever made lace.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, but you embroider as well, don't you? I started one once.
I do cross stitch.
Hello.
And lace. Not even dry. not even drunk. So,
Brianna
yeah.
says in the US they don't call them knuckle dusters; they call them brass knuckles.
Oh,
Oh.
still
I mean,
violent.
they get called that here
Still violent.
too. They are illegal here. You shouldn't
That's-
have
that's-
them.
They are
Probably
illegal.
a good reason.
Well, as his
for
gun,
that.
as a guns
No,
and
you can
knives
have
on the
license.
street.
You can have
Yeah, but-
licensed guns.
Yeah,
Mm.
but you
And
can't
there
just
are
have them
certain
willy nilly.
situations where you can carry. I learned this the other day because David fishes. There are certain places where you fish, you are allowed to carry a knife because you're in the water and you can get caught in all the weeds and stuff, and they can pull you on and die. So there actually are sort of. So if you want to shank somebody, hang around.
No,
with
no,
the
no, no,
fishing
no, no,
rod.
no,
I'm
no, no,
joking.
no,
I'm
no,
joking.
don't
I'm
give
joking. I'm
any
joking.
For
I'm
legal
joking.
reasons.
I
The
clearly
team
am
here at
joking.
History After Dark do not, under any circumstance, condone the carrying of bladed weapons anywhere.
No, I know, but I was
or
just
anything
surprised
other
when he
than
told
the
me that.
purposes designed.
When he told me that, I thought he was making it up because I thought, well, how come it's all right to, I could be walking down the road parallel to that stretch of water and not
Yeah,
be
but you know
allowed
a
to carry
fisherman.
knife.
You know a fisherman.
But
like,
I just
10 paces, don't you? Alberta says, how come Dr. Cat knows so much about guns? Is someone's former life? Well, you don't know what she goes to sleep listening to.
My side interest is weaponry. That's I'm interested from everything from archery, rapier and dagger, crossbows, all the way up to siege engines. The start of cannon and heavy artillery. I'm interested by how we weaponize. So that's how I know about it, because I wanted to learn about it. I also have had the opportunity to go target shooting on a range. I really enjoyed that. I probably wouldn't necessarily go again. I really enjoy going archery shooting. The one thing I'd love to do is to shoot a crossbow. I haven't done that yet. I've thrown axes. I've done archery.
It's in Ewan's comment.
My son is
grinding spices now. It just worried me because I can see the potential for somebody to be carrying a knife in a vicinity of that and then say, "Oh, I only had it because I'm going fishing," but actually they're going to use it for nefarious. And it just worried me. I was like, "Oh, be careful when you're in those places."
The thing is, if you have a reason, though, you can carry all manner of things. If you happen to be the armourer for a theatre show, or if you happen to do a martial art, you can legit carry weapons. Like I carried around a 3.5 pound steel sword because I was fencing with it. So,
but you weren't up Tesco, were you?
I could have walked into Tesco with it. It was in a fishing bag.
See, back to the fishing. Maybe we should just. So
there's a fishing theme developing here, isn't there?
Alberta says, does the UK have axe throwing bars? Yes, we do now.
Yes,
we do, and I have been.
They're fun.
Many a time. They are fun.
I'm good at the underhand. I'm a good underhand axe thrower.
Oof,
I love it.
So, if in doubt, and if you need an axe thrower, we've got one for you. They cut people's hair with axes now as well, don't they?
I mean, they do all sorts of things.
And set fire to it as well.
Ewan's doing the Fosse dance while he's grinding those clothes. The no turnout, just all turn it all in, Bob Fosse style. I love it. Shot a 50 cal. I think a crossbow would be really fun. I've seen them go through the doors of cars, so pretty cool.
Be careful where you do it.
Pretty.
I did archery last summer. Was it last summer?
You did, yeah, it was. Yep, no, I think it was the summer before.
Blimey, yeah, it was. You're right. That was really, really fun. I really enjoyed archery, but my eyes aren't good enough to do it. I don't think. But yeah, Doug says you can't get up too much if you have to stay within 3 yards of a riverbank.
Trtrue.
Messing about the river with blades. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
We're not advocating that, but you can read Wind in the Willows if you like.
Do that.
That's perfectly fine.
Yes.
Shall we? We're pretty sure what's happening next week, aren't we?
Yeah, I was just about to say. So, Philippa,
wrap us up.
What's happening next week?
So next week we have our guest, which we should have had last week, but of course we didn't. So Gareth Russell is coming to join us next week. And he's got his new book out, which is by my bed, so I've not got it here, called Do Let's Have Another Drink, which is a kind of biography of the Queen Mother, but it's through 101 anecdotes about her life, and it goes in a chronological order. So she just got married, I think, where I am at the moment. So very good. And Gareth will be
where
fantastic.
I am. Her husband's not long become king. That's where I am. Spoiler alert. But yeah, that's
spoiler
where
alert. Okay.
Ewan has said that next week we should do codpiece or gas mask. Do you know what we should do an episode on
Brilliant.
historic artifact or sex toy or something like that. We should do that.
God.
We should do that.
I think we kind of did.
Yeah, we did. But there are more games.
Accidentally.
There are more games and japes to be had.
There
Oh, I
are.
just smelt my hair. That was weird. I did it.
Oh no, I do. I've got a really nice conditioner at the moment.
Man
And
mustachio.
I spent good portions of when I use this one, a good portion of the day just I look a little bit like
That's long
yeah.
enough. I can't do it.
You both
So-
suit a tash, Cat.
I know. So let's
Maybe
Beautiful.
go for the look.
Actually, you do.
So next week we've got a fabulous guest. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a really good time. He is excellent value. He's a very good fun person.
Sorry,
lovely
someone's just sorry, Mint Pixie's just suggested a game called Call My Muff.
Make a note of that. Take a note. Take a note. Take a note. Has anyone seen the Royal Mob on Sky History? No,
No.
No.
not even heard of it.
No.
Sex toys, do they have them during the Tudor period? Well, we will find.
And, we will see what
Out.
we can find out.
We will find
We
out.
did talk about doing a room on.
I Google
Oh,
history.
I'm not going to talk about that now. Oh,
Yes, my gangster look. This is my disguise.
Anyone
I'm
know
so
who? Anyone?
sneaky.
Anyone know where Cat is?
So
Actually,
sneaky.
that is brilliant.
You're just using your lip to hold it up. Might
Right.
not do it.
What's the wrap up? How do we do this? I do the
Okay,
intro.
okay. So Philippa, where can everybody find us?
Nice
Okay,
and easy,
here's where you
okay.
can find us. Okay.
Okay.
So if you are watching us on YouTube, you can also find us on Instagram at history.after.dark. If you are watching us
Yeah.
on Instagram, you can find us on YouTube as History After Dark. You can find us all individually as well. So I am either not just the Tudor Tracker or the historical collaborator. Philippa is British History Tours. And Kat on is Katrina.Marchant on Instagram, and here on the YouTube she is Reading the Past. So you can follow all of us individually, or you can follow us here at History After Dark. You need to do all of those things. It's a very
of it.
good plan.
You can also, and you really should,
Yes.
subscribe to our Substack. It's History After Dark Hub at substack.com. And it's the hub because that is where we're putting the recordings of this, any podcasts we do, any extras that we're going to start doing,
And
you will
we've
find
got-
them on Substack.
We've got an exciting plan for Substack, haven't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Keep your
Well, I
keep your
thought it
eyes
was
on it.
exciting.
We talked
Philippa's-
about it.
It was so exciting that Philippa's forgotten.
No, it's just
I
it's been a
probably
long
was the one
Wednesday.
who wrote the notes, though.
It was a voice note. It was a voice note, and you know what? It's Hump
Yeah.
Day, and
Remind me
everyone's a little
later.
bit soupy.
It was
A little bit
after
spooky
it
in
was
the brain.
something that got mentioned on last week's, and then I messaged you guys the next morning and said, you know that thing that someone suggested, we could do that, and we went,
Oh,
yeah. In fact, we could.
So
Yes.
keep your eyes skinned for that happening.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some
Poor
fun
Rover
stuff.
needs to go to bed.
Oh,
Not been to bed
no,
yet.
I
It's
don't-
2:30 PM. That's
oh lordy Moses! I hope you work nights. Good night. God bless. Sweet dreams.
Night.
I'm
Time for
I'm gonna have me
night.
tea.
Oh,
Yeah, me
also,
too.
though, we should mention if you want to support us and help us actually
Oh yeah.
keep food on the table, you can support us through Buy Me a Coffee, which is buymeacoffee.com/had podcast.
We
And
could
we
also add in an
will give you
option
a
for
shout out.
purchasing dildos as
No,
well, because they're
no,
more expensive
no.
than coffee.
No. I thought you meant we'd sell them.
We could also had
Historic.
dildos.
Historically accurate dildos.
Right, you're laughing. You know people would buy those. You know it. None of
Mate,
us.
I was in a sex shop with my friend. We weren't
yeah.
buying for something together, but I did see a arse gnome.
I remember you talking to us, and I've got a friend of mine, and I said to him, "Mister, have you got one of these?" And he was like, "Yeah, obviously." And I said, if anyone I know was going to have one, it would be you.
It was about 1.5 foot tall, made of black latex. Little fucker had a face, and it was a garden. It was a garden gnome for your arsehole. And I asked, "Why has it got a face?" And the guy went, "Well, I wouldn't have a face." And I went, "I mean, that's an answer. That's an answer."
Chris has asked if we're going to do badges. So at the moment, we're not big enough to have badges, I don't think, on Instagram or to be monetized on YouTube. So you can help us by spreading the word.
So bring your friends.
And then that allows us to get closer to the mark for their requirements for us to be able to do that.
I mean, in the future, we might make physical badges for our merch with
awesome.
We're gonna do merch. It's gonna for sure happen. We're gonna have all sorts of t-shirts and hats and shot glasses. And why not badges? Why not badges saying something about our muffs? Why not?
Oh dear, I had a call. What was the gun thing?
It was, in fact, I was telling the truth. It was an Apache revolver.
Yes.
So it was the French weapon of choice for a gang in the early 1900s.
Nasty.
So is that our order of business for wrapping up?
It might be.
Well, holy day. In which case, we'll see you all next week, guys. And gals and friends and puppies, whoever happens to be here. Thank you all for joining us, whether you're on Instagram or YouTube, maybe even both. That would be weird, but maybe that's a fun viewing experience for you. It's been delicious. Have a fabulous rest of your week, whatever you're doing. Have a lovely rest of your day, however much of the day you have left. And we will see you all next Wednesday as we start hurtling towards fucking Christmas.
Only 2 hads till Christmas.
Shit the bed. Right.
2 hads till Christmas.
2 hads till Christmas.
Always nice to visit the fellow sewer rats. Well, we
well.
may be in the gutter, but we're looking at the stars of history and judging them as deceased gits. Rightly so.
Right.
Salute.
Oh, Beverly, we'll see you again. Yes, and see anyone.
See you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.